Ladies and gentlemen, today is, what is today? January 9th, 2013. And this is the KNKL Emma Stream, day 24. I'm going to start getting my numbers right, okay? Today is 24, and I'm going to remember that. Where we gather every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where you join me in my dojo, and normally I'm working on my comic, but today we're just going to be working on little sketchykins that we were working on yesterday. And we're going to be jumping right back into that, as well as answering any questions that you may have. I usually reserve the Q&A for the very end, but if you have some questions as I'm working, please let me know, and I'll do my best to check the chat every once in a while. And if I see your question, and I think it is a good one, I will answer. But if it sucks, then I'll just ignore you. So make sure it's good. So, there are a few matters of business that we need to talk about, because I told you guys yesterday that I had some marvelous things to show you. I was talking about me playing Black Ops, of course. And I feel like Emma is actually starting to take over my life because it's everywhere. Like in Black Ops, this is my emblem. See, this is awesome. I love the new Black Ops because you get 34 layers, and in the old one you only got like 12. So I was like, I'm gonna see if I can make like a nice Emma. So I made one for me and my friend, and my clan tag is actually Emma too. So super legit, super legit. And also, I need to show you guys my plans for the Scion Motivate contest, the contest that I'm entering to hopefully win a brand new car and $10,000, which is going to help me out a lot, seeing as I'm not employed anymore, right? So I did make a promise to show you guys what I'm going to do with my FRS if I win it. If I win it, or if I have to save up one way or another, I will get this car. And this is what it's going to look like. Hey, look at that! Oh, man. Woo! So, man, that is a fine piece of metal. Could you imagine, like, just driving down the freeway and you saw that? Like, if you see this car one day in the future, mark my words, you will see this car somewhere if you live in California. And then you'll look over and you'll see it's me, and then I'll look over at you and I'll be like, hi, and then I'll shoot my little sticky hand at your window if you're a cute girl or a handsome man saying, hey, keep on looking good, right? Because it's my invention, the sticky hand thing that you can flirt with people with. I don't know if you guys remember that. That is another story for another time. So, enough of that. Let's go ahead and get to the drawing. Shut up and get to the drawing. Alright, so let's go. Let's go! That was probably really loud. I still need to calibrate this thing's microphone. I'm a little bit peeved that my old microphone was actually better than this one. I mean, it's like stereo, so I can like talk on both sides, and it like transfers my voice, and it picks up the dog barks really well. But the overall quality just is like more muffled. I don't know. So I might be investing soon in another mic altogether. So that way my voice can go through and it will not blow out your eardrums, because I do care about you guys. I really do. I really, really do. So, yes. Oh, yeah, and more about the car. Yes, I am planning on putting some sort of emblem on the hood, too. I think that would be really cool. Maybe like a silhouette of Emma or the axe or something. I don't know. That was just a quick thing I threw together today, just because I like to visualize things. I believe somewhat in the law of attraction. You know, not just like, oh, I think about the car and it's going to magically appear, but, you know, you get an idea, set a goal, and then you will make your way to that goal, you know, as long as you're, you know, working at it every day. And it's good to at least know where you're going. I feel like knowing where you're going and knowing what you want is like 90% of it. The other 10% is just kind of following through. And if you want it bad enough, oftentimes I've found that it's actually not that hard. It's not that hard to follow through if it's something that you want very badly, such as the Emma Mobile. The Emma Mobile. The Emma Mobile. And then I'll tell me and Jake will be like, to the Emma Mobile! Whenever we go out shopping, getting our canned fruits and cottage cheese. By the way, have you guys ever tried that before? Like mixing crushed pineapple or applesauce or peaches together with cottage cheese? is absolutely amazing and good for you. Very, very good for you because you get your fruit, you get protein from the cottage cheese. It's a really, really good source of protein and nutrients, and I believe that is vegetarian? Yeah, vegetarian. No, no animals harmed. No animals harmed, and we always like that. I always like to not harm animals unless they're really, really tasty. But yeah, my little brother is more a vegetarian than I am. But having him hang out with me, like what he was visiting for a little while, and just seeing the way that he's changed his diet, it's actually really, really healthy, and I like that. Like he just does like oatmeal in the morning, and he does like rice and beans and cheese, and I was like, man, those are like some of my favorite foods. I could get used to that. So I decided to start kind of simplifying my diet, you know? Because a lot of people, when they go on a diet, it's like, oh, well, I got to do this, and I got to make sure I eat exactly this at the right time. And, you know, but for me, it was just more like simplifying it. I was like, well, hey, it's really, really easy to make oatmeal in the morning. And it's really, really easy to heat up some beans in a tortilla, make a burrito. And it's pretty easy to make rice, too, except it's kind of boring to sit there and watch it cook for 20 minutes. But you get the idea. So I've been doing that for a little while, and believe it or not, results have been showing themselves. I feel like I feel more healthy. Feeling like I'm more healthy. I like that feeling. Like I have more energy, you know, like more energy to go biking and running and occasionally doing my little workout thing with these rubber bands. So yeah, working as an artist at Riot, you sometimes run into little problems with your back, right? Because you tend to work like this, and your back is like this, and you're doing this, right, for 8 hours a day. So naturally, your neck is going to basically make you become a hunchback. So it's a good idea that you get up and stretch, and I've been starting to go to the chiropractor lately, and he prescribed to me this amazing rubber band thingy that I like wrap around, you know, like wrap around something. Let me see if I can actually show you this. It's really cool. I hope you don't mind that I'm sidetracking here. I figure you guys wouldn't mind. Alright, so check it out. So say I can wrap it around this door handle thing here. Can you guys see this? Okay, so it's around that door handle, right? And I got the little bands here. And then I go like this. That's one of them. And I do this. I feel like a Bowflex commercial. I'm like, you can't see now, but my back muscles are bulging. And I do that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is very good for my neck and my back. And it keeps it in shape, right? And since I've been doing that and actually working more standing up, I think it's really been like helping out because I have like wrist issues. You know, I don't know if you can hear it cracking right now, but it cracks a lot. And like I had like a really bad like shoulder pain, and I'm just really tense in my back. So standing up is not only helping to improve my posture, but it's also making me feel better too. And you burn like 800 more calories a day when you stand, or something like that. Or I don't think it was 800. I think it was like 150 or something stupid like that. But anyway, that's just a bonus. That's just bonus points, bonus calories. Now I need to figure out what the rule is when Emma's hair does this, because I don't think I've ever drawn it like this before. I know it does this, and usually I like to condense the shapes. Maybe it's just maybe it's too thick. I think that's what it is. Yeah, it was just too thick. There we go. Cool. Mm -hmm. Cherries and brie. No, I have not tried cherries and brie, Captain Big Butt. Although I really would like to. Oh, here, let me switch it back. That way you're not just looking at my fat face. Hmm. 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 I know, guys. I know. I fixed it, okay? I fixed it. It's bad because I got like my reference over here and I'm trying to like remember to... I only got so much screen space on this one, so I keep forgetting to switch the cam over. And I'm always so embarrassed. I just look over and I'm just like... Yeah. Very, very sad times. Alright, so moving on. Moving on. I heart Emma. She is so precious. But yeah, like I said, Emma is literally taking over my life. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing or what to think of it. But I want to make the Emma Mobile. I make Emma my Black Ops emblem. Basically anything I can make Emma, I will. It's kind of nice because it's just kind of become my life now. You know, the comic is my life. And that sounds really weird, like saying that, because, you know, here 4 years ago, this was just an idea in my head, and now it's like just coming to fruition. And it just feels really cool, just every day waking up and being like, wow, it's like I have an issue with my comic. Like, my comic is here. I wanted for so long to make comics. And it just gives me the greatest sense of, not only the greatest sense of like accomplishment, but like the greatest sense of fear too, because it's like, oh man, I can't believe I'm actually doing this, and man, I really hope it works out good, and I hope that, you know, I want it to be perfect, and, you know, but I can't get too caught up in making it all, you know, perfect, right? Because nothing's perfect. Perfect is a relative term. Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. And take it out of our language. You can only improve. You can only keep improving. You never get perfect. Never! So, in other news today, I was talking with a lovely lady that was visiting the house of Jake and his mom, where I live. And she was actually doing some painting downstairs. Like, she's working on like these molds that go like above the stove, and it looks really really cool. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like all like Italian, awesome looking. It's got like vines and like grapes on them and all this stuff. And, you know, I was just talking to her about art in general, because it's like, hey, someone who can relate to me. But you do like murals and stuff like that, and I do comics. But she thought it was like the coolest thing in the world that I did a comic, and I was like, yeah, I need to show you, but I didn't get her the freaking address. Dang it! Oh well, she'll be back. She'll be back tomorrow. I mean, don't get the wrong idea or anything. She was like an older lady. She was a mom, so not really suitable for Keenan. But she was really nice, and I thought that was really cool to kind of connect with somebody that was another artist and just kind of talk to people for a while. It's been a while since I've actually talked to another artist that was really interested in what I do, you know. You know, I had my coworkers at Riot, but, you know, I'd see them every day, and I don't know. I mean, we just work next to each other, you know. We talk every now and then. Some of my coworkers I was really good friends with, and I loved hanging out with them. Especially this one guy, Andrew Silver, man. That guy's awesome. He's just a good person in general. I knew when he was getting his interview, and he was like all nervous and everything, and I walked up to him, I was like, dude, like, you have nothing to be nervous about. Like, you're good, and you just gotta like relax and let your natural self come out. And yeah, just realize that you're here because the reason we're wasting our time on having you even here is a good sign. Like, that means we're really, really interested in you. So as long as you don't just mess it up, I didn't say that to him, but I was like, basically, it's in the can. All you got to do is just be yourself because you're an awesome guy. And I think he really, really took that to heart. And he was an awesome guy because I told him to be. Ha ha! Ah! Ah! That's the secret. Okay, so let's fix up these legs back over here. What are you guys saying over here? Rempa Goda? Could you show your Emma Call of Duty avatar later in the show? Did you not see it earlier, Renpa? Are you late? Are you being lazy? Alright, I'll show it one more time for you. There you go. Gaze at its awesomeness. You get killed by me in Call of Duty and you see this? You know that's me. Be like, oh, I just got killed by Keenan. Wow, I'm gonna friend him. Be like, dude, I just got blown away by, or no, you'd probably be the one killing me because I freaking suck at that game most of the time. I'd be like, dude, you should stick to drawing comics. Don't play this game. Oh man. Woo! Yeah. Feeling fine. You ever just wake up some days and you just like feel fine? You just like look out your window and you just smile? Like, I love waking up in the morning. I just feel so good. Except it's hard to get out of bed because, you know, I have a really comfy mattress, but I've been forcing myself out of bed because I tend to sleep in a little bit late to like 10, 10:30. And I like to get up around like 9 or 8:30. 8 is like the perfect time, but I usually don't make that. Uh, but yeah, I just like getting up early, going to bed early. Feels good. Waking up, seeing the sunshine, smiling. Even though it's really, really cold in the morning. It is so cold. It's like, because my room is like right across this way here. And I can't wait to like get out of bed and like get dressed really quick and then come into the actual house because my room is almost like a guest house thing. It's like a guest room that's separate. So I have to like walk out and then come into the main house. And it's always so nice and warm in here because Jake's nice mother runs the AC all the time. But she complains when I run it in my room. But her house, her rules. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. And she's very sweet because she's always cooking for us and I have no room to complain. She's an amazing woman. An amazing woman. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and take a look. See here. Take a look at the distance of these arms here. It's looking pretty good. You got the shoulder coming out here. All right, I might actually have to move her legs in a little bit. I have to move her legs in. Her legs look a little long, or her thighs look a little long. Yeah, in order for that to be her elbow, in order for this to be her elbow here, that arm would have to be pretty long. Yeah, I don't know if I like that. All right, Emma, we're going to do some surgery. We're going to do some surgery. In fact, I might be able to just warp this. Hang on. I'm going to show you guys a little trick. Little trick we use in the industry. You select your thing, and then you hit Control-T, right-click it, and then hit Warp, and then you can freely, and hit Control-H if you want to hide the grid. But when you get that grid, you can move around your things, and you can easily reposition everything that you need to. So let's see. I actually want her legs to come out a little bit more here. There we go. And that looks good. Let's go ahead and move these things back a little bit. Okay, that's looking better. However, that other arm is really messed up now. So we need to fix that. Whoa! Not like that. Not like that. Like this. Surgery. There we go. Surgery for Emma. Let's fix her leg lengths. There we go. Dang it, that arm still looks weird. Why does it not look weird there? It looks weird here, but it doesn't look as weird there. I think it's just because I need to keep in mind where the actual elbow is. I think as long as the elbow would come down like this, go right there, and then that would go like that. So you'll barely see the arm there. Barely see the arm. There we go. And this original pose, guys, I want to tell you that the original pose came from somewhere. It was some famous actress. She was doing this pose, and that was what I referenced when I did this here, right? So a lot of good pose inspiration can come from, looking at magazines, sexy poses, Victoria's Secret, you know. Like, I'm not perverted, I'm an artist. The mailman comes and like hands you, a Victoria's Secret, and you're like, no, it's research. It's research and it's reference. That's what we'd always say at work. It's like, it's not naughty things, it's reference. Professional naughty people. But anyway, that is another conversation for another time when I know that are not younger kids watching. So let's go ahead and fix her skirt here. That is just precious. I want her skirt to come up like that. There we go. Cool. It's looking good. And every now and then, guys, what I like to do a lot is when you first open up your PSD, it'll always recall the very, very first opening of it. So oftentimes what I like to do is I go in my history, and I click this right here. And then it shows me the changes that I've made. I go here, and this is where I am now. So it's just kind of a cool anchor point to be like, okay, this is where I've gone, this is where I started. And I just kind of compare the changes I've made. And so far, I like it. I like it. Best excuse. I'm an artist, yes. That's what I had to tell my parents. I'm like, I'm an artist. Mother, the reason I was looking at those things is because I'm an artist. You guys are so funny. Alright, so let's continue here. One thing I'm noticing that might be a little bit off is let's open up our Emma face reference here. Let's make sure we are capturing her character properly. I think there are a few things that are off. There are a few things that are off. So the first, actually, whoa. Wait a second. We're actually really on target. Except for this. This needs to be up a little bit more. There we go. It's amazing how just barely, like, did you see what I just did there? Like, I'm just changing the eyelashes, right? But that changes the entire eye. It actually does. Subtle changes in the eyes and the eyebrows really, really make a difference. I'm telling you guys this. It's amazing. Really, you guys should test it out for yourself. All of the expression of your character is told through their eyes, eyebrows, and even their hands too. Their hands can tell a lot about them. Yeah, this is actually pretty spot on. Almost too spot on. It's a little creepy. Chin needs to come up a tiny bit. And see what I'm doing? I'm going back in and I'm sculpting very, very carefully the edges of her chin, right? These small adjustments really make a big difference. Cannot stress enough how much of a difference they make. So that's looking pretty dang good. I'm liking that. Let's go ahead and get that eyelash in there. The signature Emma eyelash. Love it. Love it. And let's go ahead and bring that up. I always try to keep from making her eyes too big, like too long and wide, because it just looks kind of weird. I feel like there's a certain part of the style that it's almost like it's the anime eye with a little bit more control, a little bit more self-control. By the way, I hope I didn't freak you guys out when I was talking like your computer. I don't know if any of you guys actually saw that, but at the beginning, people are always saying, "Oh, it scared me," because the stream starts and then randomly music starts playing on their computer and they gotta find where it's coming from. So I decided to play a little joke today. Act like I was your computer talking to you, telling you about all the naughty things you've been doing. Alrighty. That is so cute. That is so cute. That is darling. That is precious. Subtleties and sculpting. Sculpting. Okay, that looks good. Alright. 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 Yes. That is acceptable, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and, like, this is looking a little bit large, too. We need to kind of control this a little bit more. Like, where's her head going? Like, where's the edge of her head? It should be here. It should be, like, right there, right? Because this is halfway, so it'd actually be more like there. Because her hair is just looking big to me. It's looking too big. Let's go ahead and bring it in a notch. Bring it down a notch, and let's have these edges kind of touch here, right? Like almost touching there and there. There we go. Well, wait, does that look better? Yeah, I think it does. This almost looks like Emma Sonic, you know, because she's got like these things going on. Sonic boom, sonic boom, sonic boom. For any of you who know what that song is, you are my hero. Trouble keeps you running faster. Yeah. I long for the days of the Sega Genesis. I so wish I could relive the awesomeness of the Sega Genesis era. I was just, what a blessed time. What a blessed time. Now all you got is Black Ops, and yeah, that's cool and everything, but where's the old days when the only way you could play with your friends is if you invited them over to your house and you had 2 controllers and you played split screen. Or, in some cases, the creative games made it so 2 players could play on 1 screen. I really like that. Like Sonic 2 and all that stuff. Sure, you controlled Tails and you could help, but you know, the camera would follow Sonic, and you know, if you got lost, then you just fly back in with your little tails and you keep going. But if your friend collected all 7 of the Chaos Emeralds, then you might as well quit, because as soon as the guy goes supersonic, he's just going to be like, pew! And then Tails can't keep up. So it's like, okay, well, I'm just not going to play anymore with you. So, yeah. See you. I'm going to go back to making claymations. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have fun. Trouble keeps you running faster. Yeah, I did like the Dreamcast. I never owned it, but my friend did, and I was like, this is amazing. It was like one of the first systems that could go online, you know? Back then, it was like you'd hook the phone cord into, you hook the phone jack into your Dreamcast, I think. I think that was the way it was. You used dial-up to get online. And I remember the first-person shooters, like you'd be shooting stuff and like lag was just a part of the game. Like you'd be shooting somebody and then the bullets would come out of where you were shooting the gun like 2 seconds later. It was really, really funny. It was an interesting. Hogan Warfare is asking, Keenan, do you ever get the problem with the eyedropper tool? If I want to get the color again, it will be a bit gray. Huh. No, I don't think I've ever gotten that. However, the one thing that I've noticed where the color will be different than it is if, okay, what's the best way I could describe this? Here we go. I want you to pay attention to if you have any multiply layers over top of whatever you're working on, okay? So watch this. I'm not certain that this is the case with what you're doing, but sometimes I forget that I have a multiply layer, and say I'm working on a layer behind it, right? If I drop this color right here, this color gray right there, and then I paint it again right next to it, watch, it'll be different. See that? See how it's slightly different? Because what it's doing is it's grabbing that color, which is on top of everything, then it's putting it again beneath the multiply mask. That's the only thing that I could guess is what's happening to you. But if that's not the case, then no, I have never had a problem with selecting a color and getting it to come out the same way. Unless, of course, maybe your... Oh, also check your opacity and your flow up here, right? Because if you select this, and then your opacity is down a little bit, even if you press as hard as you can, look, it's not going to be as dark. Also, the flow will do that too. So your opacity is at 100, but your flows... wait, maybe the flow doesn't matter. Well, that's for airbrush, I think. But it's either the opacity or you're working with a multiply mask over top of it. And you need to stop doing that. Take it off. The multiply mask, I mean. Lovely! Okay, is that looking right? I don't know. Something about this is still looking a little weird. But I can't put my finger on it. I can't put my... on it. Might be the curve of this forehead. Maybe it needs to be a little bit bigger. Is that it? I like to, as much as possible, like keep this round here, like from the forehead down to the cheek. I like to keep it like one big circle. It looks kind of funny, but I just like the design of it. It's really nice. Easy on the eyes. Alright, so let's go back and check once again. See the changes that we've made to Emma? See all the subtle changes I've gone through to make her face all the more cute, and the changes to her hair. So this is what I call refining the lines, or sculpting the lines. And this is basically how I go about making my line art. And then I can go, and once I'm done with this, then I go in once again, and I'll make the final lines on it. And granted, I don't do, like, I want this to be like a promotional piece, you know, for like the character bio. So I'm naturally taking a lot of time with this, right? Maybe a little bit too much time, like refining the lines. But in the comic, it's usually a little bit more rough, and then I kind of refine things at the end. The only thing that I do refine to the same thing that I want to see is the face. Because eventually what I do, and here I'll show you. I will show you right now is a little bit of a technique that I discovered when I was doing a cast a few weeks ago. Right? Because I've got my ink brush here, right? And I'll go through and I'll ink everything around the face, like this. And see, look at how simple like this brush makes inking. It's so awesome. I love it. I love this brush, even though it's a little big. But anyway, this is just for an example. Anyway, this is just for something I'm showing you. So I'll go through and line everything around the face, right? And then what I'll do when I get to the face is I'll do this. Pay attention. I'll lasso the eyes and everything that is existing in this area, right? Then I will Control J, duplicate it, erase the face behind it. Why is it? Oh, there we go. Erase the face behind it, right? And then, so that way, now you have the face on its own layer. Okay? Then we go back to the face layer. Lock dim pixels and fill it. And then bam, you got basically a rough version of your face. Then you go in and just kind of clean up those edges. Because I feel like, and I said this before, I feel like there's a certain quality, there's a certain emotion and like flavor, really, that just gets infused with the sketch of the face. And I feel like if I take that sketch and try to line over it once more, I lose something. And I don't know what it is, but I don't like it. So this is the way I've been doing the faces, because I'm very, very, very picky about the faces. And occasionally I'll duplicate it again, like say if it looks kind of gray, sometimes I'll duplicate it once more. And then I'll just merge it like that. And then I'll go in here And I'll take my ink brush, which is at 100% opacity, that way I don't kill my hand. And I'll just go through and I will erase and sculpt. Get rid of all these ugly lines. Like that, right? And this is much, much easier for me because you retain all of those little qualities that were in the sketch or the refined sketch, and it doesn't look too, like, I don't know what it is. I can't describe it other than there's something there. There's something in the refined sketch that just doesn't get translated when you do the lines over top of it. So that's basically it. And I'll actually like redo the blush lines too. That's probably the only thing that I'll erase and redo is the blush lines. So there you go. That's my secret. And now she has no face. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hopefully we can go back. Okay. Whew. Almost messed that up. Now, back to what we were doing. Now for something completely different. Okay. Alright, so what are you guys yapping about over here? Her eyebrow looks a little misplaced. What are you talking about? How to color wrinkles and folds in clothing. Helgen Warfare is asking for a tutorial on coloring wrinkles and folds. Oh, lost track from the the screen flipping. Yeah, the eyebrow over here. Yeah, it is a little like off, but I like to do that. That's kind of like a stylistic choice. It's not a mistake, it's style. Oh, for those of you, someone's asking about the brushes. The brush that I use to ink is this one right here. It's called the Aufgenommener Pinsel, which is German, I believe, for brush. So use that one. But yes, I like to kind of move this eyebrow over a little bit, right? I don't know, I like doing that because it kind of simulates like her forehead coming like out, you know, it simulates the depth that's happening here. Like imagine her nose is here, this is a box, and then here it like comes out again, you know? And then, so this is an optical illusion. Let's go ahead and shade this in. Robo Emma. Robo Emma. So that's kind of what I'm going for there. I mean, not that her forehead like does that, but that's kind of what I'm simulating. Exaggerating and simulating depth. Because that makes me happy. Maybe a little too happy. Okay, so moving on, let's go ahead and refine the axe. Let's refine the axe. Feel free to ask any questions that you have. I'm gonna blow noobs away, ba-rum-bum-bum-bum. I still got Christmas music on the mind. Man, this year's Christmas was good. Like, it was good. Really good. Probably because I actually got to give gifts. Like, that was awesome. I mean, it goes to show you, right? As soon as I don't have a job, I go out and get gifts for everybody, you know? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Hey. But hey, it's all good. And that's not me moping about, you know, oh, I don't have a job, you know, just talking, saying the truth, you know? But, however, if I do need to make money, I will make money. Like I said, I planned ahead, saved up. Planned ahead and saved up so I could do this crazy venture of making a comic. So far, really liking it. So far, it's pretty awesome. Alright, so let's do our best to avoid tangents. Do our best to avoid tangents. There we go. Cool. Now let's make sure that the perspective of this axe is looking right because it looks a little off. And the way that I like to lay out my perspective on objects, it's actually very simple. I will show you. So basically what you want to do is like think about this thing existing in 3D space. Like if this edge of the axe is going to line up here, right? If this point is going to line up with this point, then this point should line up with that point. And the lines should go through like that, right? I hope that makes sense, some semblance of sense. So with that being said, I can tell you that these lines are a bit off. What we want to do is a little bit more of this. Alright, now that was a subtle change, but makes a big difference. And also, you want to consider these lines as well. I think these lines, they were going up, they need to go more to the side. Okay, so that's looking good. Now the next problem that I'm seeing is this blade. This blade looks really weird. Just go ahead and sketch it out in 3D space first. Where's our other... Okay. It's kind of rounding off a little bootay there. Little Emma bootay. And let's go ahead and draw in this here, right? Okay, so we know this is existing like in this space, right? So the blade is going to come down like that and then go right around there. So think about this point meeting this point, right? It's following that same perspective. That's how I'm calculating this. Calculating perspective. Perspective locked in. And there you go. That's the secret. Now that axe looks a lot better than the old one because it follows the rules of the road. I mean, the perspective road. The road also follows the rules of perspective. So we could call it the rules of the road. I like that. The rules of the road going into the distance, right? Into the sunset. That is what we were talking about. And I think I just drew that so you couldn't see it. Dang it! That was supposed to be impressive. The rules of the road going into perspective. Okay, I'll put a happy face on this one. Yeah. Yeah, that just happened. Better believe it. Alright. So moving on, let's go ahead and lay in the rest of the perspective here. Now, that axe blade looks like it's a little bit funny. I don't know. It might be turned too much to the point where it's like just barely resting on Emma's back. That might actually be a good thing. Who knows? So let's go ahead and sketch this in. We know that the general shape of the axe goes like this. Goes down, then up. And again, think about this line going through. Come on through. Break on through. Break on through. Hey, 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 hey. Okay, oh, also another thing is that this exists here, so therefore this part of the axe is going to be pushed down just a bit. Like that. And that goes like that. Okay? So that's looking pretty good. Looking pretty on target. Let's go ahead and just throw in some perspective lines here. Let's go ahead and flip that, see how it looks. Yeah, see? So now you can see that these lines are basically reinforcing each other. Let's go ahead and draw a line through it. We're going to learn perspective today. A little bit of it, right? So you want to think about how all of the points, affect one another, right? So if you draw a line from here to here, right? Look at that perspective line, right? It's a little off. But basically the way that I measure this is this way, right? I would say that, okay, the back of the axe blade, I know is on the same level as this here, right? is this area of the handle. So as long as those two line up, as long as this meets that, it will look right. And then this up here, you know, this other part of the handle might be a little bit high. So let's see if we can fix that. In fact, let me do this. When in doubt, consult the lines. Let the lines do your work for you. Okay, so I know the back of the hilt meets, or the back of the blade meets there. And by the same rule, that should meet that there. All right? And then following that same perspective, look at this. Going up here, that is where that handle should be. So let's go ahead and reduce this opacity a little bit. And let's fix this up and see how it works for us. Or we might be able to just be extra lazy and use the power of the digitalness to just warp it. Warp it into place. That's the way we work. That's the way the good artist works. Nice and lazy. Okay, so I'm actually going to drop this down a little bit. Drop it down. So that is now, that line is meeting that. And you know what? I did say that this area, oh, hang on. Gotta do the trick. Gotta do the trick I learned. Wait, I'm clicking F. Come on. There we go, now I can do this. Okay, so I know that I said the back of the blade should meet here, but I actually meant it should meet there. You caught me. You caught me. And because of the lines, look, these lines are not perfect. So let's go ahead, go back in here, fix that. Okay, as soon as Photoshop wants to start cooperating, we'll fix that. Boom. Boom. And that's just kind of a quick and dirty lesson on how I do perspective. And I don't always draw out lines, but it's just a quick way to measure and make sure that things are working for you, right? Like, it's all about the relativeness that makes the perspective. Like, if you're drawing a tank, you would draw a line back in perspective and be like, okay. And I did this for the metal slug thing, the metal slug tank. You basically compare everything to what is relative to it, right? So you got your, let's say you got your tank treads here, and think about it this way. This is the way that Iron Stylus mentioned it to me. You can create something in 3D space really easily by just like basically creating this here, and don't worry about like using perspective and like having it go like here and like, oh, okay, here's the vanishing point, and I got to do all this stuff and you know all those grid lines. When you're first laying something out, and oftentimes you can just get away with this. You can just draw something like this, two lines going the exact same way, and then one line going this way. So that way you know that basically anything that's going along this direction is going to have a line like that, right? And anything going in this direction, we're going to have a line like that. And then the way you build up is just by drawing straight up, right? And then you can begin to create your shapes, right? And look at this box, right? Line that way, line that way, line that way. And then you can basically build things like that. That is the way that it was decreed by Iron Stylus himself, so therefore it is law. 'Tis law. So I'll have to go a little bit more in depth onto that in another episode. But for now, we got 5 minutes until question catapults. Release the catapults. Yes, yes, yes. Release them. Okay, so I'm not going to bother with this too much more. That looks good. That looks good. And then another thing that I like to do is I'll keep the outside line. I'll keep the outside line of the axe, but this inner one that's kind of representing, you know, the bend in the geometry, or the bend in space, in time and space, I'll actually kind of erase it a little bit. So that way it's a little bit more suggested, you know? It doesn't have to be like perfectly like chiseled and geometric, you know? It'll actually look good just by conveying just enough information, right? So there's like a little line there, a little line there. And there you have it. In fact, this should be a little bit skinnier. Skinny this up a bit. Yeah. So that's the basics right there. I hope that has shed some light on how I do perspective. How I just quickly check perspective. You know, and you can cheat a lot of it too, so can't get it perfect, don't worry. Oh, another thing I realized is in the other one here, her back is arched much more, or she's like leaning forward a lot more. So kind of like that. Let's see if I can do that. So it comes down like that. Butt's a little more like that, and then her back goes up like that. There we go. Cool. Let's go back and check what we were doing earlier. Yeah. Good. I'd say we are succeeding very well. We are succeeding with much success. All right. Checking the chat really quick. Was that yawning? I didn't even notice I was yawning. Sorry about that. That's unprofessional. All right. Oh, Rem Pagoda is asking about drawing people in perspective. Yes, that is a good question. Good question. One that I can't answer today, but I might be able to go into it tomorrow. I might want to save it for the next KNKL show because that would actually be a really good subject to go into. I did do something on it, like I think it was called like putting your character's feet on the ground. There was an episode that I did a little while ago. I would say start there, and then that talks about like putting a person's feet on the ground and you're like looking above them. That talks about drawing it in the 3D space and making it look like they're balanced, right? Because sometimes you can draw like a character like from up top, right? Like say this is him, and then this is his body, shoulders, you know, going down like that. And then you're like, okay, well, where do I put his feet? Okay, I guess they'll go there and there, right? But he's totally going to fall back and smack the ground here, right? If this is the perspective. So that, putting your character's feet on the ground goes into a little bit of that. I would highly suggest you go have a look-see. Another thing that I like to do when I'm sketching is I sometimes like to go in and just like shade stuff. You know? Just adds an element of fun to it. Adds an element of fun. You can quickly kind of see what you're going to be getting once you add in the shades of stuff. I like that. There we go. So that's looking pretty good. I'm liking that. Let's fix the perspective on that bandage a little bit. I do this a lot. Like when I'm drawing, I like do this. Like when I'm trying to like make stuff look right. I don't know why I do that. I'm like, yes. Yeah, it looks funny. I know. It looks funny. And I love drawing boots. You heard that correctly. Boots. I love drawing boots. I love drawing other things too, but boots are very fun. Okay. So that's pretty fun. It's pretty dang fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to open the floodgates and cast your questions to me, and we'll wrap up day 24 of the KNKL Emma stream. So please, don't be bashful. Come forth. Come forth and cast your questions to the castle of Keenan. I am a king of... Yes. I am the king of Emma Land. That's what I am. And while you guys do that, I'm going to go ahead and sit down. So I'm feeling rather lazy today. But work begins again tomorrow. And that's going to be good. And that looks nice. It's very good. Let's go ahead and compare. I'll put this one over here. Like that. And then we'll bring up the other one. You guys can just pay attention. Or, I mean, not pay attention. Take notice of the changes that I made. How Emma has evolved over the years. Alrighty, so first question is coming in from Helgen Warfare. Helgen Warfare is asking, did you have a particular thing that you took that took you a long time before you learned how to draw it right? Good question, my friend. Good question. Let's see. I think faces. Faces were a big challenge for me. Like the complexities of drawing the depth, like how the mouth and the nose kind of stick out a little bit further than the eyes, and when you have to draw it that way, like capturing that depth of the face was always really hard for me. Because what I did oftentimes, and noses were huge, huge thing, and still are actually very, very challenging for me to draw. So those took a little while. But I like a good challenge, and once you get it figured out, then you feel oh so good. So yes, noses and faces were a big, big sticking point for me. And still are, actually. Not perfect at it. Not perfect at anything. Alrighty. Elfenzorn is asking, are you going to be uploading the video for the contest on YouTube? Yes, I will be, in fact. And I will let you guys all know when that is up so you guys can go and comment on it, because the people over at Scion are going to be taking a look at that. And from what I've seen so far, they're really big on like projects that have a lot of like social buzz, like social media buzz. And so far, like the Emma comic has actually been received really well. So I would love for you guys to be able to go on there and actually like comment on it, so that when they go on there, we're like, whoa, look at all these people. Look at all these people liking this thing. This guy deserves the Emma-mobile. Wait. We should give this guy the Emma-mobile. And then I'll be very happy. Alright, next question. Rempa Goda is asking, you said you would have been a sculptor if you weren't an illustrator comic artist. Will you ever make an Emma sculpt for sale as a limited run or anything in the near future? Yes, Rempa Goda. I'm actually very, very keen on making sculptures and like little figurines of characters. And I absolutely love figurines. I mean, I do my best to make an Emma sculpture. I mean, Alicia's already made one. You should see hers. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, I'd really love to be able to make a mold. Like, I know that I can make a mold and I can make a sculpture, but then like going in and painting all of them, I don't know if I could do that. So what I might be doing is making like a master cast and then casting like gold Emma statues. Like, that would be pretty cool. That'd be pretty sweet, because then they're like limited run, and you know, you can just cast them, mold them, and then you know, sell them as like a limited edition thing for when you guys see me at Kamikaze or Comic-Con. So, alrighty people, I will take one more question and then we are going to sign off. Today was a very good stream. We didn't drop any frames, and that makes me look professional, even though I say that all the time and I'm really not. Yes, there will be plenty of goodies for people who wish to support the comic with their hard-earned cash. I believe in giving back awesome things, right? So don't worry. There will be plenty of opportunities for you guys to support the comic with your cash, and that will make me very happy. but it will never be required because the entirety of the comic is going to be able to be enjoyed for free by you guys because you're just awesome and I want to tell my story. So, Valkyo D is asking, is doing still lifes really that beneficial for one's drawing skills? Oh, man. Valkyo D. Life drawing, or still lives? Still lives. Okay, wait. If you're talking about like drawing pots and pans and flowers and grapes and fruits and stuff like that, yes, it actually can be. I haven't done a lot of life or like still life drawings per se, but I have always wanted to do them because here's what I think they're good for. If you're going to be going into a line of work, such as working for Riot, where they're really, really keen on you making materials look like they really do in the real world, like making this phone look like, you know, see how it shines and like the fingerprints, like they'd want to see those on it, right? I want to see all those little details. So doing stuff like that and like paying attention to how like little things, that was pretty gross. I'm sorry you guys had to see that. But what else can I show you that's not as disgusting? Like this book here. Like, notice like see like the little textures and like imperfections on the edges of it. They're all big on like having you make it look like the actual material. Metals, plastics, you know, fur and skin. Skin's a big one for still life. So I think that still lifes are very good for artists that are looking to pursue a line of work that requires you to render a lot of materials. If that's not the case, then honestly I would say focus more on like your designs, like focus on like how your drawings flow. And I say this to everybody, it's like always pay attention to what you have. Every artist has something unique to bring to the table, and you have it too, believe it or not. So make sure you find out what that is. Make sure you kind of take a look at the artist within, the artist's soul, figure out what it is that you have that's unique to bring to the table. And then always, never lose track of that. Don't become a clone of somebody else. Don't be like, hey, he's doing that, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to become that. And then you're just another of that guy. You know, be like, hey, I do everything that this guy does, but with extra style. With extra salt and garlic seasoning. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I am sorry I will not be able to answer the rest of these questions. I don't want to look at them because I'm going to feel bad. So we're going to go ahead and end episode 24, or day 24 of the KNKL Emma stream. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. I did not open iTunes. That's awesome. I can't have the epic outro music, so I'm going to have to sit here and stall you inconspicuously. For those of you watching on YouTube, please thumbs up if you like this, thumbs down if you don't. I'm Keenan Lafferty. My name is Keenan Lafferty. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, you guys take care.